Good morning. There is this gorgeous little bookshop in this tiny little small coastal town, so we're gonna be going there together today, and we're just gonna have an easy chill day. We're just gonna enjoy walking around, seeing the sights, just taking in the views and having a good little stroll. And then we're gonna go in the bookshop, and I went there last week and I saw that they had, well, I didn't have time to actually look around, but from the window I saw that they had a couple of really cool editions of the type that I've been looking for, of books. It's not the books that I was looking for, but it looked like the same style of editions. So let's see if we're lucky and if we can finally find the Pride and Prejudice edition that I've been looking for. So we're gonna head out there today and have a look. And also, I finished The Fellowship of the Ring. Obviously, like I said, I have read it before many times, but I finished it. It was kind of amazing how much of a page turner it was even now. Yeah, anyway, I finished The Fellowship of the Ring, and I want to buy the rest of them in the same Alan Lee editions. And this bookshop is the one that has them, is the only one down here that stocks them like that. So we're going to be picking up the Two Towers, and because each one is like a reasonable price, I think each one is around £30, I'm just going to buy the Two Towers, and when I finish reading the Two Towers, which, let's be honest, is probably not going to be that long away, then I'll probably pick up the same Alan Lee illustrated edition of The Return of the King as well. So let's go find some cool books, sightseeing, and just have a nice, easy, chill day in the countryside. Yeah, so let's go. I love days like this with no big plans, no pressure, and nothing to do except find some cool books. I think that's the best weekend plans. Yeah, let's head over to the bookshop and see what we can find. Okay, so these are nice, but they're not the ones I'm looking for. Hello, we are back. I mentioned this earlier, but yeah, there's pretty much nothing I like more than easy peasy days, like no plans. I don't know if I've ever been one for having like tons of plans, loads of structure and stuff like that. I don't know if I've ever really gotten on great with that. But definitely, like, lately, yeah, I mean, I just like to keep things really simple. If it's too hot for me, I actually won't go outside, which, again, I've mentioned this before, but, like, I am so not a summer person anymore. I've changed so much. Like, I used to spend hours and hours in the sun, but yeah, now I just can't, I can't stand it. So, yeah, in case you're wondering, because I've got such a limited closet, you might not have seen this before, but I bought this last year in spring from Vinted, and it was a brand new with tags Hollister dress, and I paid like £5 for it. Bargain of the century. I used to shop often on Vinted. So yeah, this is actually just a little like Hollister dress from last year. And I had it just folded in the back of the closet. But yeah, it's actually gotten so warm that I thought, okay, I'll bring it out. It is quite a short dress, so I usually wear it with like, I don't know what you would call this. It's not spandex shorts, but like leggings shorts underneath, so that it's like, you know, modest and you're not just out there, yeah, with everything out. But yeah, I'm so happy because I managed to pick up the copy of Pride and Prejudice that I've been looking for. I would have loved to have found it like at a discount and not have had to pay full price for it, especially since I've paid full price for these, which we'll get to in a sec. I just, yeah, but you know, it's fine, it's worth it. Like, it's such a beautiful edition. I feel like it has helped me get back into reading, to have like books that I enjoy, if that makes sense. It's kind of like that thing where you start working out and you buy yourself like all the workout gear just to get yourself like psyched up for it, but it's not quite as bad as that. Like, this is genuinely, like, this is nice. Like, I think to have a nice book that feels nice to read, it does help you read more, I think. It does for me. So anyway, let me show you the Pride and Prejudice book first, and then I'm going to show you, these are really heavy. I'm going to show you these. The sleeve is missing on that one because I'm currently reading The Two Towers. So I've taken the sleeve off because they're paper. I'll show you, like, it gets kind of, I don't know if you can see, it gets kind of messed up, and that's with like really careful use. So I realized after I read The Fellowship and did that to the cover, I just take that off. So the cover for this one is downstairs, and it's this massive photo of like Shelob's lair. So really, I'm kind of super scared of spiders, so it's no loss to me to move that off of here while I read it. But yeah, I'll tell you about these first because these are the Alan Lee editions of the, is that the right word? The Alan Lee editions? I don't know. Of the Lord of the Rings. So I'll tell you, second, I'll tell you about that in a sec. Let me show you Pride and Prejudice first. So yeah, this is the edition that I picked up. I'm sure there's probably like loads of other really beautiful editions out there, I know, but yeah, here for what I could find, I really like this. So it's like, I don't know if you can see, it's fabric, like, yeah, like linen-y fabric, I guess, yeah. Yeah, and it's just it's really nice. Like, it's got this kind of, that looks a little bit fluorescent, but it's not. It's all just like muted, very pretty. I think there, you can see it quite well there. Yeah, it's fabric and it's just muted, and it's got, I think, is that a swan? I'm so sorry if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's just really beautiful. So they have all of the novels in this edition, like in this style, and I think over time I'll collect it. But you would have seen in the book browsing bit, like the pink one, and it was like the collection of all of the novels, like a collection of her novels, Jane Austen novels, and it is so beautiful. Like, it was that beautiful pink color with like the little crisscross in blue with I think like the silhouette of a man and a woman, so gorgeous. But so that was, I think that was like £30 for all the novels, whereas this was $16.99 just for Pride and Prejudice. But here's the thing. As a reading experience, this was a lot nicer. So the cover of the other one was beautiful and I really wanted to get that, but it literally would have been like a pure aesthetic purchase. Whereas I'm actually trying to buy a nice book that I can enjoy reading. So
this was honestly that. Like, you can actually read this, the chapters are separate, like when one chapter finishes, it starts on another page. Whereas on those like collection ones, it was kind of a bit like, the chapter was just like in the middle here. It was like, okay, next chapter in the middle. Anyway, the font was really small. It just wasn't as nice of like a reading experience, even though the cover was beautiful. So I do think for Christmas I might ask Santa Claus to please bring me that book, just because it would be really nice just to have out and just to see. And it's nice to have all the novels in one book. But yeah, as like, I don't know if you'll probably agree with this, I assume, as a reading experience, having a big bulky book of all the novels, like, is not that nice when you lay down in bed or sit on a chair to read it. I find like it's really heavy and bulky. So yeah, that's the edition I got. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, it's really nice. Like I say, I think it's been years since I've treated myself to a book, like especially to like a nice fancy book like this. Yeah, that's the one, Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. But yeah, let me tell you about the Alan Lee versions of The Lord of the Rings. So they're massively heavy, so I'm just gonna pick them up one at a time, but that's what they look like. I'm missing the Return of the King. I haven't bought that yet. When I finish the Two Towers, I'll buy the Return of the King. So these two that I have are actually signed by Alan Lee. That's really cool. They were bought like a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I bought them for my husband as like a Christmas gift. I think he's read The Hobbit, but he's never read like The Lord of the Rings, the trilogy. And I was like, oh, you gotta read them. And then it turns out Alan Lee was doing a book signing in a local bookshop. I wasn't able to go for that. I didn't make it to that. I found out after the fact. But they had loads of copies of books that he'd signed. So that was awesome. So I thought, well, what better way to get you to like read The Lord of the Rings than to get you a really cool edition and a signed copy. Like, I just think that's epic. And Alan Lee, obviously if you know about Lord of the Rings, you're gonna know way more than me about this. But yeah, he was eventually commissioned to illustrate this book, which is The Fellowship and The Hobbit. And for 6 years he worked as the conceptual artist on Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, film trilogy. So yeah, he's like massive. So yeah, I mean, you probably know all about Alan Lee yourself if you're into this kind of stuff. But yeah, so these are the books. They're absolutely beautiful. Like I say, I have to be so careful with the cover because it's like paper, so it does damage really easily. But if you open it up, so I don't know whether all the books have the maps. I assume most or all do. But yeah, I mean, look, so it's got these incredible, beautiful photos, watercolor paintings, just unreal. Yeah, I think there's 17 watercolor paintings in The Fellowship. I think it does say it, but yeah, here's the bit where it's signed. So yeah, I have The Fellowship signed by Alan Lee, which is amazing. And like I'm saying, like the illustrations are just unreal. So that's when the riders are attacking the village of Bree, so that's like one of the paintings there. Yeah, and actually on the back you can see another one of the paintings. It's the Trolls. I don't know if you can see it actually because of the light, but yeah, I'll do a little I'll show the book properly in a sec. But yeah, that's that one. And then The Hobbit, which is exactly the same thing, and it's signed by him as well. So that's kind of like the opening page, and then yeah, it's got that. And then, sorry, this is like the worst book showing ever, but yeah, I'll video it properly. So yeah, so I had The Hobbit and The Fellowship, and next I was, I knew we didn't have the Two Towers or the Return of the King, so I went in store and I bought the Two Towers, which you can see there. Without the sleeve, The Hobbit is green. I don't know if you can see it. I will show it to you. But these, as you can see, they're both red, so I assume the Return of the King will also be red. It's just like a red, it's not linen, but it does feel really nice. So yeah, it's just like red on the outside, but it's very pretty. It looks like kind of like vintage antique book or something. Right, so here's another wonderful, I don't know if you can see, watercolor painting. But yeah, I mean, it just really brings the book to life. That is when they've just entered Fangorn Forest. So that's meant to be Gimli, Aragorn, and Legolas in Fangorn Forest. So yeah, the artwork's beautiful. Like, and then that one, that's another one. Yeah, like I say, I feel like it really brings the story to life. I gotta be honest, so much so that it's been years since I'd read The Two Towers, and like I mentioned in my last video, I'm kind of a little bit of a baby and things affect me a lot more now. So I was reading like the last few bits, going into like Shelob's lair and everything like that, and oh my gosh, I had to put the book, like for the Battle of Helm's Deep, I had to put the book down. Like, yeah, it's just different. Stuff affects me a lot more, and it's hard. I don't know what it is. And obviously like the photos really help you visualize it. You're like just reading it and then boom, it's like a photo of the battle or something, and you're like, whoa, you feel really immersed. So it's absolutely gorgeous, like as a reading experience. But yeah, if you're a little bit of a baby like me, then I'm just gonna be like, full disclosure, I actually had to put the book down in a few parts, because yeah, like I said, it'd been years since I read it, and I didn't obviously remember it being like that dramatic. But the writing is obviously like so intense and so descriptive that it does really put you into the world, doesn't it? You're just like, for me, when I read it, I'm just like, whoa, this is like, it all feels like, when he's describing like when they're in Mordor and all of these places, like it just feels dark and oppressive. And yeah, I definitely had to yeah, just put it down at times and come back to it. And times at night I'd just be like, I don't think I'm gonna read it tonight, just because like I don't think I can handle the scene that it's on. So yeah, but it's been great, and I'm really glad. Like, I think it's a great little selection of books. It's been years since I bought books and enjoyed reading them. I really enjoy just having easy days like that, where you know, where there aren't a whole bunch of plans and you don't have to like do a whole bunch of stuff. I think it's really good, just not have that pressure to constantly like do something and plan things out. So we're just gonna go and get ready for dinner. Yeah, then we'll wind down and I'll talk to you a little bit about what I'm listening to as well. So when we came back, my husband actually decided to make pizza. You're not going to believe this. This is the easiest pizza recipe, and we did not think that this would work for gluten-free flour, but this is literally gluten-free bread flour and just water, and that's it. No proving, no yeast, no rising. We got it from like a Jamie Oliver show on Netflix, and I was like, oh, there's no way this is gonna work for like gluten-free flour. Like, you probably have to use, you know, the normal flour that Jamie Oliver was using in the show. But yeah, it's so easy. I'll write the recipe if anyone's interested in like the description, just like if you want to try it. It is the easiest pizza base ever in the world. It takes like 5 minutes and you make it in the pan. So I mean, it's just awesome. We like doing this. We do it maybe once a week, like kind of like as a, you know, pizza and movie night kind of thing. But yeah, it's so good, and it actually tastes amazing, which for gluten-free flour is like, it's very hard to get like make a good pizza base. But yeah. Hello! I am so tired from today. I'm just really looking forward to winding down. Sometimes the days are long. Also, I'll update you in the next video, but I think little one is kind of starting to drop his nap. So that's a story for another time, story for next video. Let's see how we're doing in a week and I'll update you. Oh my gosh, but yeah, new territory. But yeah, how easy is that pizza? It's literally 2 cups of flour and 150 ml of cold water and then just salt and you're done. So if you wanted to try to make that, I think it's really great for like family pizza night, or it doesn't have to be family pizza night, but just like pizza night and just make your own pizza. It's really easy, especially because you make it in the pan. I think that's kind of cool, like it's a little bit cooler than just doing it in the oven. Yeah, I won't keep you too long because I'm really tired, to be honest, and I know it's still really bright. I cannot get over these long days. I cannot stand these long days. I thrive when it's dark by like 6, and I know that other people, like, they get really depressed about that, but I really like that. Like, I prefer it. I cannot deal. It's like 7 and it's really bright, and yeah, I know I've said this before, but yeah, just not my thing. Sorry about that, just had a friend randomly pop in. Yeah, what am I listening to? Sorry. So yeah, this week I've actually been listening to, I'll put the album there because once again, I'm not gonna try and say it, but Arrested Development. This is one of my favorite albums. Again, I grew up listening to this album. It is like an all-time favorite record. So yeah, I've just really been enjoying listening to that. I will say that I feel like I tend to put this record on a lot more kind of during the summer months, but it's not something that I think is like a summer record. I don't have like a casual relationship with the album where it's like, yeah, I just put it on in the summer and then I never listen to it again. I do obviously listen to it like year round, but for some reason it comes out more in the summer months. But yeah, this is definitely one of my all-time favorite albums. I feel like the lyrics are really good, really strong, really powerful lyrics. Like, they touch on really good themes and they're generally quite positive as well. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to pretty much all week. It's one of my favorite albums, like I said, ever since ever since like growing up, basically. I just have always listened to that. Again, this is another one of like my dad's albums, so that's how I've heard it to begin with. Like, that's how I come across it, as because he owned it, he had it. What's interesting is, even though I like a lot of, pretty much 90% of the same music that my dad likes, or maybe 80%, he likes a lot of like other stuff that I don't like. Like, I think he likes a lot of, I think like maybe soul, but mind you, I'm saying that and then he might be like, I actually don't like that, I don't like that anymore. So yeah, that's basically been the album that's been on repeat this whole week. And yeah, I'm just going to leave this video here. I hope you really enjoyed, like, yeah, seeing the books, and finally I got the Pride and Prejudice, which I'm definitely going to just sit here now and read while daddy does a little bit of the bedtime reading the stories to the little one. So that's really good. I can just sit here for a minute and just read. But yeah, I don't know about you or if it's like hot where you are, but I'm really struggling with the heat. Like, I literally have to put like the shades down around 6, sometimes even earlier. I'm sorry to be like one of those people, but I've gotta just put the shades down. I've even had to put like a cold towel on my head just to try and cope with the heat, because like, oh my gosh, it's too much for me. Like, the heat is just, which is crazy because like growing up I used to love the heat. Like, I would be outside all the time in the sun and the heat, it wouldn't bother me, but I can't cope with it now. It actually makes me feel really sick. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and deal with the heat, get in bed, and just try and read, have a cold drink, even though apparently you're supposed to have a warm drink if you have a warm drink, it helps keep you cooler. So like if you have like a hot tea, apparently that helps cool you down. I must say I have tried that and it was so hot that I cannot even tell you if it actually helped or not. So try it at your own risk. But it is apparently tried and true that if you do that, it's better for you. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna just have a cold drink, sue me, with ice. But yeah, I will catch up with you in the next video and I will fill you in, because it would have been a week by then. I will fill you in on whether little one is definitely dropping his nap or not. At the moment, it really seems like it. So we'll see where we are and what we've got going on. But yeah, just thank you so much for being here and for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.